Dr. Patrick Huff, Associated Lecturer, Department of Geography, Birkbeck, University of London. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you. So let's start with the Turkey's invasion attacks to Kurdistan. Lately, the Turkish Defense Ministry has claimed that Turkey's present offensive against the Kurds is being carried out in coordination with the countries of friends and allies. Who are these friends and allies in particular? What is the evidence for the complicity of foreign and regional powers in Turkey's latest military operations?
Sure. Uh, well, I think the obvious allies they would be referring to would be other NATO members. I think other regional powers. I think the KDP in northern Iraq, South Kurdistan. I think that's probably a someone an entity that they're referring to. I think really complicity. Silence is complicity. So the fact that very little has been said about this internationally in terms of other NATO members, and so on, really, I think that speaks. The silence of those places speaks loudly to their complicity in this recent aggression by the Turkish state.
Thank you. You underlined the silence. What does the silence and refusal to criticize say about the international community and its responsibilities in that case?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think it again, as I say, I think it speaks to complicity. In this aggression, I think it also, it underlines a long history of ignoring the plight of Kurdistan, the struggle of Kurdistan. And this is in many ways more of the same. I think that's what the silence speaks to.
What do you believe to be Turkey's real objectives in launching this operation at this time?
Yeah. Well, we can look at it, I think, in two ways. There's a long term objective, which we've seen carried out or attempted to be carried out over the last 40 years or longer, last century, which is essentially the suppression, oppression, and annihilation of Kurds as a people. So I think that's kind of the long term objective, and this is just a small part in this longer project. But on I think in the immediate term, in the next decade, looking forward, we could say that this is likely. This particular action that's happening now, this operation, is likely connected to interest in oil and gas pipelines. I think that's likely. I think the fact that Turkey is kind of entering into various regional deals to try to export natural gas to Europe as an alternative to Russian gas because of the Ukrainian war. Now, Europe is looking for alternatives, and Turkey is, I think, interested in trying to provide those. So I think that's probably or likely the kind of medium term goal.
There is a serious reports that shows about the chemical weapon allegations that Turkey is using chemical weapons in this invasion attacks as well. Isn't this a war crime? And the OPCW also should go there to make these researches as well. But still, OPCW is silent. So, what would you like to comment about that? What is your evaluation?
Well, I mean, these are incredibly serious allegations. They should be taken seriously by the international community. There should be an investigation. I know that the journalist Stephen Sweeney is bringing evidence. I think it's a 35-page report to the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. I believe tomorrow. And again, this is completely outrageous, heinous crime, and yeah, absolutely should be investigated. And if demonstrated to be the case, there should be serious international action taken against the Turkish state for this. Absolutely.
It's very clear that Turkey's aim to eliminate the Kurds and solve its Kurdish problem through military means. How can this be helped? Do you think the way to solve out the Kurdish question is in the military means?
No, I mean, I think again, I think if you look at the Kurdish freedom movement in Turkey as well as around the world and in other regions of the areas of the Middle East, the message has always been negotiation, peace, democratization. These, I think, are the ways to ultimately come to some sort of settlement. Bill Öcalan has repeatedly called for that, and so on. So I think the long term, if there's going to be any sort of peaceful outcome to this, it has to be settled peacefully, and that means the Turkish state has to give up its genocidal program towards Kurdish people and come to a negotiating table. I think that in the short term, in terms of the ongoing aggression in both northern Iraq, southern Kurdistan, and the Rojava area, we've seen the concerted efforts of militant action on the part of Kurdish forces, as well as international support from social movements and people in solidarity with Kurds around the world. I think this has an effect. I think it's important to continue, but ultimately, there has to be some sort of peaceful negotiated settlement.
Thank you. You mentioned the Kurdish leader, Mr. Abdullah Öcalan's crucial of the freedom as well. So these latest attacks, I would like to remind you that the PKK is still on the forbidden organizations list. Do you think Turkey is using that as an opportunity, as an excuse to carry on these attacks? And do you think the key for the peace is freedom for Öcalan and delisting also the PKK from forbidden organizations list? How would you going to evaluate that?
That both of those things, the freedom for Öcalan and delisting the PKK is crucial for peace. Any road towards a peaceful democratic settlement runs through freedom for Öcalan and the delisting of the PKK. As long as the Kurdistan Workers' Party is listed, as a terrorist organization, which it is not. Multiple, evidence, court rulings, etc., have demonstrated this is not the case. But as long as it's on that list, it will continue to be used as an excuse by the Turkish state for aggression. So any sort of peaceful settlement, democratic settlement, has to involve the leading organization, one of the leading organizations of the Kurdish freedom movement. It would be absurd not to include centrally this organization as part of any sort of peaceful settlement.
Dr. Patrick Huff, Associate Lecturer, Department of Geography, Birkbeck, University of London. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for your valuable comments today.
Thank you for having me. It's been great, and yes, have a great day.
Thank you.